So really there's 4, but we label it as 1, 2, 3A, and 3B. So up at the top of C5, do these 4 problems. So first off, it asks us how many terms we got. How many terms do we have? 5. We've got 1 with an x squared. We also got another one with an x squared. That's 2. We've got 1 with just an x. And then we've got 2 constants here. So we've got 5 total terms there. Okay. Then it said combine our like terms. Well, when I circled mine, now granted, I have the ability because I have multiple colors. Okay, right? So I circled mine in the colors already. And then, so when I combine them, I'm going to combine the same colors. So if you have 3 pencils and I take 1 pencil away, how many pencils you got left? 2 pencils. So that's 2x squared. Nothing else combines with the negative 4x, but that negative sign comes along. If you've got 1 book and I give you 8 more books, how many books you got? 9 books. So there is the combined, simplificated one, and then we got that. Okay. Now, this is also written in standard form. One of the big questions that people got wrong on Friday's formative was not writing it in standard form. Standard form, again, has the biggest exponent first, with that, whatever term that one is, whatever coefficient, then the next biggest exponent, then the next, all the way down until very last is the constant. Okay? So that would be standard form. Okay. Simplifying these two, multiplying. So what is 4 times negative 2x? What do you got, Will? Okay. 4 times, so look at the numbers. The numbers get multiplied together, right? What's 4 times negative 2? Negative 8, and then times x would be negative 8x. Okay. 5 times negative 3. Ooh, you sure? Why positive? Negative times a negative is positive. Yeah. Catch. Questions on those? All right. So today then, we're going to start working on the distributive property. And we're going to use some area models a little bit. I'm not a big fan of area models because I think we can get past them and all that fun stuff. Okay? So what distributive means, okay, or what to distribute is the verb, okay? So if we are distributing, we are going to divide equally among several or many. Okay? So what we're going to be doing is today we're going to have a number in front of a variable or a term or another number. For instance, we're going to have something like 7 and then 3x plus 4. Okay? So it's going to look like those problems that we just did down here in the warm-up. Okay? But what we're multiplying into has more than one term in it. Okay? So because it's got more than one term in it, we have to do something a little bit different. Okay? So let's get into it. Let's talk about multiplication because we just had that one where we multiplied things. Okay? If I am multiplying with the same sign, okay, positive times a positive or a negative times a negative, what is my result? Or what is the positivity of my result? Positive times a positive, negative times a negative. same sign. They're both going to end up being the same answer. What do you got, Brady? Positive times positive, negative times a negative. Yep. So when they're the same sign, they're both going to be positive. Okay. No matter what, when we're multiplying, same sign, both positive. If they're different signs, so positive times a negative or a negative times a positive, okay, both of them are going to be negative. Okay. All right. So what we do when we do this, and feel free to do how I do this too, because I have been doing the maths probably about twice your age. Okay? So this is my 26th year of teaching, and then I had 5 years of college in there too. Okay? So that's at least probably about twice the amount of ages of you guys, not an old lady back there in the corner. Okay? All right? All right? So, but why I say that, not as a boast, not as a brag, I say that because I still, when I'm distributing, I still draw myself 2 arrows. Okay? Because whatever that term is in front of the parentheses has to be multiplied into all of the parts inside the parentheses. So into all of the terms inside the parentheses. So that ends up giving us A times B plus A times C. We have to multiply that A into both of them. So if you find it easier, especially when we're just doing this distributing for the first time, if you find it easiest to draw yourself those 2 arcs, go for it. Okay? I still do it, and I'm 48 years old. Okay? All right? I have snickering back there one day. Okay? Okay? So how an area model works. Okay? So we did it like so. When you guys get more and more proficient at this, you're going to multiply those 2 together, and then you're going to multiply those 2 together. Well, how an area model works is you multiply these 2. You multiply the row by the column. And later on, distributing, oh, maybe it's unit D. In unit D, we'll have a binomial times a binomial. So then our area model will grow by a whole nother row. Okay? So what is 3 times x? 3x. Okay? And so I would put in here 3x. Because that's what 3 times x is. 3x. Then I multiply these 2 together. Positive 3 times positive 4 is positive 12. So my final answer here is 3x plus 12. So in this first one now, we've got 2. Our outside number is going to go in the single row. And what's inside our parentheses goes up here. So it'd be x and -5. I would split those two terms up, and I would make it be x and -5. Okay. Then, multiply here is this first hump that I would draw. 2 times x is 2x. Then, multiply here is that second hump that I would draw. 2 times -5 is 2 times -5, -10. So our final answer here is 2x minus 10. Okay. You try number 2 and stop when you get done with number 2. All right, so what's my outside number in this box right here? For everybody, what's the number that goes in this box? -3. First box for the inside, x. Second box for the inside, +4. Helps to write that along too. Bring that symbol along with it too. Okay? -3 times x is -3x. -3 times +4 is -3 times +4, -12. Okay? So this distribution here, when I would multiply this -3 times that x, and this -3 times that 4, would give me -3x minus 12. Questions, comments, concerns, clarifications? Okay. Now go on and try number 3 and number 4. I also added one in for the bottom, but we can do that one together when it's done. Okay, so actually let me bring the shade back. Bring the shade back. So -4 in that one, 3x and -2 in that one. So multiply these two together to get this one. That's going to give me -12x. Multiply these two together to get that one. That's going to give me +8. So together those combine to be whatever's outside goes in that spot. Whatever's inside goes in those two spots. So when we multiply -2x times x, we get -2x squared. Because it's like -2x times x times x is x squared. So that's how we get -2x squared. Then those two get multiplied together. -2 times -3 is +6 times x is +6x. So then this would be negative 2x squared plus 6x. Okay. One more for down at the bottom, because it's one of those goofy, weird math type ones. Okay? And I want you to have some involvement with it before you get turned loose on the homework tonight. Okay? So this one just has a negative or a subtraction sign out front. But really, what it is a subtraction of 1 times that. So this negative 1 here is what gets distributed in. That sign in front comes along. So then this would become 3x minus x. And this negative 1, oops, that was solid. This negative 1 would get multiplied by the 4 there to be minus 4. Then, what we're getting to, a preview of tomorrow and some of your homework tonight, is now we're going to have to combine these two like terms right here. Those two are like terms. So if you've got 3 cookies and I take 1 cookie away, how many cookies do you have left? 2 cookies. So then this would simplify down to 2x minus 4. Cookie Monster stole a cookie. Okay. Couple of things that I'm going to do now. One, I'm going to hand out, I'll start by handing out tonight's homework. That'll be number 1. Then I've got updated grade reports to hand out to you. Then I've got your formatives to hand back and anything else that I have to hand back. I got those all separated and sorted. Before, what you've got now for the next, 25 minutes is you can be working on the C5 homework that I'm about to give you. You can be working on fixing your formative. You can be working on fixing any of your old homeworks, turning in any of your old homeworks, all that fun stuff. So you all have something to do here now in the next 25 minutes.